Hello folks, Mundane Man here again, and today we are going to paint this basement wall, which apparently has been the wrong color since the day it was painted. Now, I didn't personally choose the color, but somehow this becomes my problem. But what are you going to do? So I've already done some prep work, filling in a little bit of holes, and now I'm going to tape off the corners because the color we're painting is different from the other walls around it. So I'm going to do some taping around the baseboards and such because the old hand's not as steady as it used to be. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to paint out the wall in the new color, and we shall see how it looks. And this better be the right color because Tommy ain't doing this again. Somebody else can learn how to paint. So let's get at it. One thing I should mention too is this job pays because I put on my old jeans to do some painting in, and lo and behold I found 40 bucks in the pocket. So hey, $40 to do this job, I guess that's okay as long as it only takes me half an hour, but that's still a great win as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so I've taped around the trim and the baseboards, and the wall edges where the two colors will meet. And I'm trying out this frog tape, which they advertise on TV is better. We'll give it a try and see. My taping abilities aren't that great either because I'm not very patient with it, but whatever, it'll turn out okay. Next thing I'm going to do is just going to give the wall a quick wipe down, get any dust off of it. I don't need to sand any of these holes because they're pretty smooth already. I'm just going to paint over them. I got the paint with the primer in it. It's the Behr paint, so I find it covers probably one of the best paints to cover over things. I'm not sure. We're going with a lighter color on this wall, and it may take more than 2 coats to get it fully covered, but with the primer in the paint that helps quite a bit. So we'll see how it turns out. So next step, I'm going to wipe down the walls now. Okay, I think we're ready to paint. So this is the paint I chose. It's Behr Premium Plus Ultra. That's one of my favorite paints. It's the one with the paint and primer in one. It says you can reduce the number of coats, but again, because this paint is darker, not sure that's going to happen. So let's have a look at the color. Now keep in mind, again, I did not choose this color. I don't know if you can see on the camera. It's kind of a lavendery gray color. That's a man's interpretation of color. You can see this paint is nice and thick. It goes on pretty good too. The last couple houses I painted, this is the only paint I've ever used, so I like it that much. So first thing I'm going to do is trim out some of the edges, paint out some of the wall, and just carry on down the line like that. And hopefully the color is correct. Okay, that's the first coat. And you know what? I'm going to give a shout out to Behr again because that dark color with this primer and paint combination, the Behr Ultra, it covered beautifully. I'm going to do a second coat anyways, but you know, a person could almost get away with not doing a second coat even though I was covering over a darker color. So it turned out pretty good. I did mess up one ceiling tile there, which made me mad. So good thing you didn't hear that, because I cursed myself. So I got some spare tiles, I can either cut it, or I do have some paint that I used upstairs in the bathroom on my roof leaking video, and it seems to cover pretty good. So I might try that first before having to cut a new tile, but that just annoyed me in my carelessness. So what I'm going to do now is, because we're in the basement and it's fairly damp, I'm going to put a space heater down here and dry the paint a little bit quicker than just the normal air would, and then I'm going to put a quick second coat on it, and we should be good to go after that. So I'm going to drag out the heater and let it warm up, and we'll come back to it in 2 to 4 hours. Okay, I had the heaters on and the fan blowing on the walls for just about 3 hours now. It's good and dry, so I think it's time to paint it up for the second coat, and it's taken on the blue hue. It's hard to tell on the camera, I guess. It probably looks more gray, but it is taking on the blue hue that the boss wanted. So let's put on the second coat and hopefully she's happy with it. She's gonna have to be, because I'm not doing this again. Okay, so that's 2 coats of paint, and surprisingly enough, I'm not sure if you can see, it took a half a gallon just to do this wall here, which is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 feet long by 8 feet high. So it does cover pretty thick, this paint, but I think the results kind of show that when you're covering a dark color with this paint, it really helps to have the primer in there. So, but you do end up putting a lot of paint on, so just be aware of that. I think the next thing I need to do, while the paint is still a little bit wet, I'm going to peel the tape off, because I think that's the recommendation, is not to wait till the paint dries. So you have a greater chance of peeling things off, and then I'll be able to see what areas I need to touch up after that. So overall, the frog tape didn't do too bad. I think most of these issues, there was one spot there that I'm disappointed in that peeled the paint off. Some of this is just my taping too. That's the old color that was there, so I can touch that up with the new color. But you know, you get spots around the window trim did okay. Quite a bit along the baseboards was fine. There's a couple spots there that bled through. And there. Now again, that could have been my taping job too. And then you get back in here, again a lot of this is just the uneven edges. There was a bit of bleed through there, but I got to patch up with my brush getting rid of the old color. So overall, the frog tape, I give it a okay as far as a product. I'm not sure if it was that much better than regular masking tape though. Well, that's it for the second coat. We got her done. I did the touch-ups in the corners where the tape bled through or peeled off the paint. Fixed my baseboards with some white paint as well. And started putting things back. Hung the curtains again. Of course, they don't seem to match anymore, so another job to be done. But at least I don't have to go shopping for them, because that is like yawn. So I just started putting some things back. Put that shelf back over there. Other little bits of furniture there. And there's a whole pile of crap back here that you can't even see that needs to be put back too. I call this the zoo. I don't know This is supposed to be her Zen yoga environment. To me, it looks like a crap hole, but hey, I don't live down here, so what are you going to do? I think our next thing is we're going to get an electric fireplace to put down here. Basement gets a little chilly in the winter, and even in the summer with the air conditioner running, it gets kind of cold too. So put a little heat in here, and I guess we'll call her a day. So that's that little job done. About, I would say, 4 hours from start to finish by the time you fiddle around filling holes, moving stuff around, getting the paint, you know, all that stuff. So maybe even 5 hours. So it was not, for one wall, not that easy of a job in the sense of time. Anyways, painting is just, anybody can do that. That's it for this edition of Mundane Man, and we will talk to you soon.